to my world. This is Ask Dr. Love Anything. So we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. This is a podcast called Ask Dr. Love, and it's heard on Radio Play, Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. So whatever your favorite podcast station you can find, Ask Dr. Love. So what is Ask Dr. Love? It's a podcast that talks about Asian medicine, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, regular herbal formulas, nutrition, food therapy, and your health. So I am a doctor of Asian medicine for 36 years, 37 years, something like that. I'm a licensed acupuncture physician for 35 years, and I'm a Qigong master since 1994 and a Grandmaster since 2005. So I'm an expert in 6 different fields: emotional stress, physical stress, spiritual stress, nutritional distress. So I'm the perfect person to ask questions. So while we wait for everybody to get in the classroom and ask their questions, we have a couple of questions from the other day. So good morning, Katniss.
Good morning. I wanted to support our listeners around the detox.
Wow, that's a good topic for today. So today is day 12 of the 21-day detox program. And if you're in the group and 3 people ordered detox kits, I'm so happy. Your detox kits are on the way today. So the 21-day detox program was actually, it's called 21 Days to Wellness, to be more specific. The first 7 days is preparation, and we prep by doing 1 juice a day for dinner, and then for 3 days, and then we do 2 juices a day for 4 days. So we start with 2 meals a day, then we go to 1 meal a day. Then the second week we do 4 juices a day, and then the third week we get into raw foods. And everybody flips out when they're like, raw, I can't eat raw broccoli, I can't eat raw snow peas. You're absolutely right. That's not on the list. What is on the list is Spread the Love, Dr. Love's famous pesto. Technically, it's a nut meat pate. So my favorite one is pumpkin seed and basil, then walnuts and spinach, and cashews and collard greens and sunflower and kale, and so forth and so on. And if you're in the Boost Your Immune private Facebook group, you can see all the pates that Seafood Master Reed posted yesterday, because he's done this 4 or 5 times and he's now an expert. So if you have any questions at all, you could ask Master Reed in the Facebook group, Boost Your Immune System.
There's a question in regards to...
He has a question. Okay. And the question is,
I hate bitter food like kale. How do I incorporate these into my diet? Feel like spices are just putting lipstick on a pig.
That's funny. That is really funny. Okay. Nobody likes bitter food, but bitter greens are actually good for your liver. We need a little bitterness to astringe the blood, and particularly the liver. Now, if we don't want to eat bitter kale, you don't have to eat kale. There's lots of other greens. Kale is being promoted, but kale's not actually the one. So there's something called tatsoi, which is Korean kale. And there's something called dino kale, which is an Italian kale. So kale grows all over the world. We don't have to eat the rough kale that you get here in the supermarket. So you can disregard the normal kale. The kale that you see in the market is for garnish. It's not actually for eating. It has very little food value. So what we would prefer to use is dino kale or tot soy. And there's a dozen other leafy greens that are bitter. So there's mustard greens, there's beet greens, there's turnip greens, there's Swiss chard, there's red chard, there's red kale, there's purple kale. So there's other kinds of kale rather than the regular kale that is available. So what seasonings can you use to soften the bitter taste? Sweet Vidalia onions and portobello mushrooms can always be added to bitter greens to soften that bitter taste.
Awesome.
Oh, and spices on a pig? No. Never, never, never use that analogy again, Michael. So I've made a practice of what I call seasoning teammates, things that go together like cayenne and garlic and rosemary and thyme and onions and mushrooms. So I've got 8 pairs of seasoning teammates, which I may or may not post, depending upon how many people push me to give it to them. Okay, next question.
How do I heal someone I don't like?
Wow, that's an excellent question. How do you heal someone that you do not like? Well, you're not much of a healer if you have preferences about people. So if you really want to be a healer, you have to disregard all preferences. So I'll tell you 2 short stories. You all have heard of Mother Teresa. So Mother Teresa took care of poor people in Calcutta, India, which is like a horrible city to live in. And there was a temple, not a Buddhist temple, a Hindu temple, either next door or across the street, I can't remember. And so they did everything they could to upset Mother Teresa. They would put trucks in front of the place so the patients couldn't come in. They would move their garbage cans so they had no way to empty the garbage. They would set feces on fire in front of their door. I mean, and this is over a 20-year period. So the leader of the temple got old and got sick. And the Hindu temple did not know how to care for him. And they did not believe in Western medicine. So what did the temple do? Their leader for 20-something years, they put him on the street and left him to die. And Mother Teresa took him in and cared for him for 2 years until he died. And then that Hindu temple that had kicked out their leader then nominated Mother Teresa for sainthood. They were the first ones to write a letter to the Catholic Church saying she deserves to be a saint because she took in her enemy. Now, second short story. There was a black woman here in the South, and she had a neighbor. And the neighbor put dog feces and all kinds of crap in her yard every day for 10 years. This is a bitter old white woman, and she kept throwing feces into her yard. Then one day, the white woman has a stroke. The black woman comes to the hospital with a bouquet of roses. And the woman looked at the roses and she said, Those are very unusual roses. I've never seen any roses like that. Where did you get those roses? And she said, I grew them in my backyard. When you threw the feces in my yard, I used it as fertilizer. So I hope that answers your question about how you heal someone you don't like. You don't have to like them, but you have to love them.
When doing the detox, when can we expect to stop or the cravings to ease up,
On the third or fourth day.
and
You have
why?
to repeat the question.
So the question was, when doing the detox, when do the cravings stop
Or subside?
or subside? Okay, usually it's the third or fourth day. So I'm going to tell you another short story. I stopped eating ice cream back in 1983. 2003, 20 years later, I'm doing a detox. So I've been doing a 21-day fast every year for 20 years. So 2003, I'm doing a detox. I'm on the 14th day, and all of a sudden, I get a craving for ice cream. And it's like, I haven't had ice cream in 20 years. Why am I craving ice cream now? So I'm calling all my friends. I'm like, what does this mean? I'm craving ice cream. I haven't had ice cream. Why would I crave ice cream? So my first fasting teacher, which was Queen Afua, I called her on the phone and she said, there's a layer of residue in your brain. And as you fast, the layers get peeled off. So imagine you painted a room 37 times and there's 37 coats of paint. And now you want to strip all the coats of paint back down to its original condition. That's what fasting does. It peels back those layers of paint, of all the dairy, flour, salt, sugar, animal fat, fried foods, coloring agents, chemicals, all that stuff that you've accumulated your whole life is inside your body. But my brain was craving it because we finally got down to that layer where that ice cream was being chipped away. And my brain was like, no, we want to hold on to the ice cream. So I was able to weather the storm 24 hours and the craving went away. So next question.
How can I prepare for the end of the detox so my reentry is smooth? Because I heard that you can get gas or constipation or burning in the stomach if you go from one extreme to the other.
Okay, that sounds like a two-part question. How can I prepare for the end of my fast so the food reentry is not?
Discomfort. Doesn't feel.
There's no discomfort for the reentry of food. Well, I would say do Qigong. So in particular, this is the exercise that I would do. Okay. And as you do this exercise for 10 minutes, 3 times a day, that would help you prepare for food reentry. Now, the second part of that question was?
So it's safe to say that you shouldn't, after cleaning your insides, eat a tub of ice cream right after your fast.
Absolutely not. So the second way that you should have prepared is to do an enema, a self-administered enema, on the 2nd day, 5th day, and 8th day. And of course the 11th, the 14th, the 17th, and the 21st day. So you should self-apply enemas. And your enema is a quart of hot water, 32 ounces of water. And you may want to do 3 or 5 enema bags. So maybe we should have a conversation about enemas. You can if you really want, I'll go into the details of what is involved in giving a self-applied enema. But most people are too lazy to self-administer, so we go to a colon therapist where they use 5 gallons of water to gently wash out the residue of the large intestine. So that would be the second way, is to do colonics or enemas. And then the other part of that question was about gas or something.
Yeah, gas or burning of the stomach or the esophagus.
Okay, so if you have an esophageal distress, that literally comes from eating too much, eating too fast, and not chewing your food before you swallow. And that's what we call GERD, or gastroesophageal reflux disorder. So enemas or colonics and waving hands like clouds would help with the re-entry of food.
Is it safe to say that if you have a discomfort, that perhaps there is an allergy to that food? Like, let's say dairy, butter.
Well, if you're reintroducing food, which is, we're doing raw foods. So we're doing leafy greens, we're doing baby greens, we're doing lettuce, we're doing mesclun, we're doing carrot ginger dressing, we're doing, I said baby greens, romaine lettuce, butterhead lettuce, and there's going to be a whole class on lettuce. There's going to be a whole class on salad starting next Monday. Okay, do we have any questions from the online group?
If this is not the... Okay. I was wondering what Qigong forms give the most bang for the buck, or build the most qi in the body for the least expended doing the form.
Expended energy.
Okay, I was wondering what Qigong exercise gives the biggest bang for the buck.
Or build the most qi in the body for the least energy expended.
Okay, so the biggest bang for the buck is going to be the flying dragon, but that is not the least expended amount of energy. So the biggest bang for the buck with the least expended energy is standing Qigong. Okay, and that's where you stand on your toes, you lift your heels about 1 inch off the ground. I don't know if you can see me.
So what is the purpose of that meditation?
To connect the heart with the kidneys. The heart is the hot water heater, the kidneys is the pilot light, and the blood is the water. If your pilot light goes out, all you get is cold water. So you want to make sure that your kidney pilot light is lit, and the standing meditation is what does that. Okay.
So should your eyes remain open the entire time?
Your eyes should remain open the entire time.
Is our focus point between our hands?
Yes, well, your fingers are 6 to 8 inches apart, and you want to imagine that your fingers are all connected to each other. It's an imaginary visualization.
So the elbows should remain bent and the arms extended.
Right, the arms are extended up and the elbows are out. And you're looking through your fingers. You're looking through the fingers. And of course, you want to have your head as far back as possible, resting on your shoulders. And that standing meditation is unique to the Blue Dragon form. You're not going to find that in any other Qigong form. There's at least 5 forms that are unique to the Blue Dragon.
Okay. Going back to the enema conversation, please share how you self-administer an enema. Thank you.
Okay, and who's that question from?
Serena.
Serena. Okay, so what we do is you put a towel on the floor. You lay on your left side. You have to get a hot water bottle enema with the hose for both the douche and the enema. So that all comes together. It's typically $20, $23, depending upon your drugstore, Walgreens, CVS, whatever. Or you can order online. So you lay on the floor, you get the hot water bottle. The water should be heated, like hot enough for tea. And then you attach the enema hose, which is different from the douche hose, which you should recognize. Now, it comes with a clamp. So you're going to let the water go through, and then you're going to clamp it. Now, you're going to put Vaseline or vegetable oil on the tip of the enema hose. The enema hose, the tip only goes this much into your rectum, which is 1 inch. So while you're pushing out, you're going to slide the tip in. I hope you're enjoying this. And you're laying on your left side. So you're going to push your rectum out. You're going to slide it in. Then you're going to unclamp it. And then you're going to actually feel the hot water go into your colon. And then you're going to clamp it. And you have a further question.
Yeah, I just want to interject. It's supposed to be warm enough so that you're able to, like, drink it, or
it should be hot as tea, yes.
But not, it's going inside of the body, so it has to be warm, but not hot to the point where
it's hot enough to drink tea.
But not hotter, but not to the point where you wouldn't be able to drink it. I just want to give people a gauge of the temperature.
The gauge is if you can drink it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Because I don't want you to go out and get a thermometer and like, oh, it's 103. Oh my God, I can't drink it. You know, so yeah.
It has to be tolerable.
Okay, so you got to pull your left knee forward. So you got to pull your right knee forward. So you're going to put your knee down. Then you're going to unclamp. The water's going to come in, and at some point your belly's going to start to expand. At that point, you clamp it, and then you literally until you feel the water move past the blockage.
There may be some discomfort. Right?
Yes. And then you're going to unclamp it again, and more water is going to come in until your belly starts to go up. Then you clamp it, and then you're going to massage your belly until the water goes down. And you're going to clamp, unclamp, unclamp until all the water's in. Now, at that point, you're going to flip on your back and pull your knees forward. And then you're going to massage again, and you're going to retain it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So you need to have a clock or something.
And you need to be close to.
No, you just need to be on the floor. You don't need to be close to anything. You just need to be on the floor on a towel. Okay? Now, when the 10 minutes is up, you're going to pull out the applicator. You're going to calmly stand up, and you're going to walk calmly to the bathroom. You don't have to run. You just calmly walk to the bathroom, and then you're going to evacuate. Okay? And you're going to stay there for another 5 minutes or so because there may be 2 or 3 evacuations. Now, after you get used to giving yourself a 1-bag enema, then you're going to line up and you're going to get 2 and 3-bag enemas. And eventually, you'll get to 5 and 6-bag enemas. Now, I've been doing this a really long time, and I have lots of experience. In fact, I'm trained in giving colonics, and I teach people how to do enemas. So there's something called a Kalima board for people who are really into it. So if you have any further questions, you can arrange a telemedicine conference with me, or you can ask the questions at Ask Dr. Love to 81010. Then you'll get a reply message, and then in the reply you will type your question, and it'll come directly to me. At Ask Dr. Love 2811010. I hope you got it.
Dr. Love, this is a question from Denisha. She wants to know, can you please tell me the benefits of drinking hot water versus cold water?
Excellent question. Okay. So your internal temperature is 117 degrees, which is way hotter than what we're used to. 105 is like really, really hot for us. Boiling water is 212. Okay. So when you're drinking tea, you pour boiling water over the tea bag and then you let it steep for 5 minutes. So you have to imagine boiling water cooling for 5 minutes. And then you get a spoon and then you sip that. And if it doesn't burn your lips, it's hot enough to drink and put it in your enema. Now, what is the benefit of drinking hot water versus drinking cold water? So hot water is expansive. It makes things expand. Cold water makes things contract. And that's why you shiver when you're in the cold, because you're contracting and you're creating friction, internal friction, to generate heat. So why is it better to drink hot water? Because it moves energy through the alimentary canal, which goes from your esophagus to your stomach, to your small, to your large intestine, to your sigmoid colon, to your rectum, which is approximately 33 feet long, depending upon how tall you are. So drinking hot water as a regular course with a squeeze of lime or lemon or even grapefruit would be very, very beneficial for you. Now, if you drank cold water, it would cause the intestines to contract. Now, contrary to common sense, drinking hot tea actually makes you cooler. Drinking iced tea makes you hotter. Now, that's contrary to common sense. But we did an experiment. There was a high school biology teacher. And we did an experiment where we drank hot tea, took the temperature, drank iced tea, took the temperature. And we were all surprised to find out that drinking hot tea actually makes you cooler. Now, if you want to lose weight, when you go to a restaurant, they give you ice water. If you drink ice water before you eat, the intestines are contracted and you're not going to absorb the food. It's going to go right through you. And that's why they serve ice water. So you'll still be hungry at the end of the meal and have room for dessert and coffee and wine. And that's a trick. So always drink hot tea or hot water with your meals. Skip the dessert and the wine. That was worth $100.
Dr. Love, I feel my left knee during Qigong practice. What does the left knee mean? This is from Qigong Throne. Qigong at Throne.
At home.
Qigong at home.
Yeah, Qigong at home.
Okay. Your left knee has no significance whatsoever. Your knees, however, do have significance. The knee is the weakest joint in your body. And as we age, there's going to be more and more pressure on your knee. So how do we repair the knee? Well, the standing meditation, going up on your toes, is the best way. Number two, when we do the kidney flow and you kick your leg to the side, okay, that also helps with the knee. And then there's knee massages. So I have a video on YouTube, it's 15 minutes long, on how to repair your knee pain. And you can watch that video, which we may just post a clip of in the boost your immune system when we get around to it.
That's about it.
So I really appreciate you texting in your questions. I want to thank you to Master Reed, who's always insightful and asks really good questions. And stick to your fast. For more information, go to 21 Days to Wellness. That's the numerals 21 days2wellness.com. You'll get the newsletter and you'll get the information about joining our 21-day program. Even if you start late, it's still okay to start late because it's your 21-day program. You get the support of the group. Even the people who are ahead of you will support you because they're going through it right now. And shout outs to Zara, Amir, your detox kit is on the way. Okay. What would be a good oil for my skin? Coconut oil is the best oil for your skin. It's a vegetable oil and it's literally absorbed into the bloodstream. Good for your heart, good for your brain. Don't listen to anybody else. Coconut oil is what you need. So I appreciate you, I love you, and I honor you for asking the questions. When love is the answer, what is your question? I want you to remember that your health is in your hands. What you do today affects your health 20 years from now. Prevention is the only cure. What you do today predicts your health 20 years from now. And in order to be well, you've got to breathe well, eat well, and sleep well. Until tomorrow, I'm Dr. George Xavier Love for the Blue Dragon Qigong Academy.